This whole podcast, you've given me the vibe and the look, minus the glasses, of Frank from 30 Rock.
I found this movie to be completely joyless. I felt that the movie was made cynically by people who hate art.
Yeah.
Like, seeing a movie at an AMC in a mall is so like 80s teen girl of you. Welcome to the Solo Moviegoers Club. This is the only podcast for people who like to see movies alone. I'm Sean. This is my daughter Kaya. On this podcast, every week, in theory, we go to see the same movie alone in a theater, and then we meet here to talk about it. And this week we saw
Novocaine. But I saw this 3 weeks ago.
I was wrapping production on a movie, and then I was on a family vacation that Kai didn't go on, and then recovering from those two events, and I'm slow and terrible at life, and now we're back in the groove. We are back. We're officially back as of today from movie/vacation hiatus. So this movie, so here's the way this works. We have a format for this podcast, which is we give a brief summary of the movie. We talk about our solo movie going experience. We then talk about the movie, and we then look at some reviews and stuff, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's other things that we do. We usually format this a little better, but we haven't done it in a minute. We'll get back into the groove. Anyway, so I wanted you to tell me in 60 seconds what this movie is about. I think you can do it in like 20 seconds.
I'm not fully equipped because I literally can't even remember. It's been so long.
Okay,
You have to do it this week.
This movie, Novocaine, there's this guy named Nathan Kane, and he has this neurological disorder in which he cannot feel any pain. And he was bullied for it. And long story short, he works at a bank. The bank gets robbed. He is the assistant manager. They're like beating him up trying to get the code. He had just the day before connected with this girl that he works with and like spilled his secrets to her. She spilled her secrets to him. The two of them have this wonderful date, and then she gets kidnapped by the bank robbers. So since he has this superpower of not being able to feel pain, he decides that he's going to go rogue because the police are super slow, which we'll get to in a bit. But he decides he's going to go rogue, and he's going to go take down the bad guys himself and win back the girl. That's really all you need to say about this movie. Like what happens is a bunch of hijinks from that point on of this guy getting beat up in every way you can imagine, burned, broken, stabbed, shot. Anything you can imagine that can happen to a guy that doesn't feel any pain happens to him.
So much conflict, but like bad conflict, like in an early 2000s movie way, that I was just like, oh my God, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? There's thing after thing after thing. And I'm just like, this is not happening right now.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Before that, what was your solo movie going experience like?
Dude, I can't even remember. Okay, I remember. I saw it alone with a coffee. And I know there were like quite a few people in there at the time. It was a super big theater. I accidentally walked into the wrong theater at first. I remember this. And I was sitting there. I'm like, why isn't the movie starting? Where are all the people? And I'm like, oh, I went into the wrong one. So then I go into the right theater. It's an okay experience. No one seemed super geeked about the movie. There were some like older people in there. It was actually pretty, I will say, like, I know I saw it pretty early in the morning. Like, there were quite a few people in there.
How many other solo moviegoers?
There was one dude who was probably like 60. And I think that's it. That's all that I noticed.
Did they give you... Kaya and I like to take coffees into movies, and sometimes they give us a hard time about it. Any trouble getting your coffee in?
No, I have a hack that I've been doing. I typically see my movie at like an AMC in one of the malls here. It's like pretty common for the movie theater to be in the mall. So I just carry a shopping bag and I hide my coffee in it. I do that all the time.
That takes away half the fun. That like seeing a movie at an AMC. Seeing a movie at an AMC in a mall is so like 80s teen girl of you. Like you're like especially you're in the San Fernando Valley.
I don't live anywhere near like the cool theaters like anymore. Like the Los Feliz theater I don't live by anymore. Nothing like downtown. It's just convenient.
You're like a character from Encino Man or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Like,
Yeah.
that's my growing up in Michigan. All my references for malls in California are all 80s, late 80s, early 90s movies. Pauly Shore is in every single one of them.
The yeah, I don't know. But like I kind of like it.
Yeah,
They have
so
seat heat.
ooh, nice. Yeah,
I love it.
I never use the seat heat. I hate it. But I discovered a new movie hack today. I have a new
Okay.
uniform for solo movie girls. So I did not. I like way over caffeinated this morning, and so I did not take a coffee with me. I picked up a coffee after the movie from our favorite coffee place. But
Hmm.
for when Kaya is here, and by the way, she's in California. I'm in Michigan. If you haven't gathered that, that's like part of this whole deal. That's why we see movies alone, because we would otherwise be seeing them together, or
Yeah.
we'd be seeing them alone and still talking about it. But I have a guest joining. Hello, Atlas. He's your brother is grabbing his iPad from my desk. So, but anyways, the my new hack. I did something today I've never done before.
Okay.
I wore Uggs to see this movie.
Hmm.
It was such a like level up. I realized that my feet are really uncomfortable during movies because I always have shoes on.
Really?
Like, yeah, at home watching a movie, I kick my feet up. I'm comfortable. At the theater, I have my feet up because it's a reclining seat, but I have like shoes or usually boots. I'm usually wearing Doc Martens. I wore Uggs today. It was a whole different experience. Like, I realized the solo movie going uniform is an oversized hoodie with a giant hood, preferably sweatpants or sweat shorts, and Uggs. That is the way
That's
to see a
literally
movie.
what I've always done. I always it's like my PJs, like a giant hoodie to be warm. Always sweatpants, it's always cold, and then I wear like cozy slippers or like boots, like fuzzy boots.
Yeah,
I can't
Uggs
believe
were.
you don't do that.
Oh, I just did it for the first time. I always will now. I can't wear any other shoes. I would actually still
Yeah.
be wearing them. I got soaked though coming out of the theater, like totally, like I jumped
Hmm.
in a swimming pool drenched. So I'm actually in different clothes now. I'm in a different large hoodie with
From
a large hood.
from rain
From rain.
or
From rain.
oh.
It's just pouring rain. It's not snow anymore here.
Oh, I'm
It's April.
jealous.
It's rain. But
I
yeah,
love rain.
pouring, major storms, floods, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, my solo movie going experience. I saw this movie at 12:30 on a Wednesday after it's been out for a few weeks. I was shocked there was anybody else in the theater, but there were two
Yeah.
people. There was a couple, and like on a date going to see this
Hmm.
movie, and they chuckled a few times. But let's just get into it. I'm going to do something today that I've never done before on this podcast,
I already
which
know.
is I am, in addition to doing this podcast, I make movies, and I don't necessarily see the benefit normally of trash talking a film because people work really hard on it. And what's
Yeah.
the point of me, who didn't make that movie, coming here and armchair quarterbacking and kind of making fun of a movie? But I have a reason, a very specific reason why I don't feel bad doing that with this movie. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna like throw this out there. I found this movie to be completely joyless.
Yeah.
Like it
I was
was,
so upset. I was so upset the whole time.
it was cynical in the way, not cynical like a Lars von Trier movie that's like where it's like an active cynicism or nihilism, where it's like you're commenting on the world in a cynical way. I felt that the movie was made cynically by people who hate art.
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
it was, and I have a little background for this. I have to. So Kaya and I
There's
aren't.
no way a creative person made this movie. It was made by a bunch of executives in a big building.
It feels like that. It feels like what's really weird to me is, we talk a lot about streaming versus theaters. We're obviously huge proponents of the theatrical movie going experience. This felt like a streaming movie. This movie felt
No,
like
not even. This was just bad. Like, you have streaming movies. Like, streaming movies aren't bad. This was
I have
bad.
I have a whole thought on streaming movies after seeing this. My brain was spinning after seeing this movie today. So a little background on me. So I'm 41 years old. I have been in the movie industry pretty much my whole adult life. And when I was like a teenager, the movies I like, everybody goes through a period, unless you're like way more unless you have a way more refined palate, much younger than I did. Everybody goes through a period where you like really embarrassing things. And
Bad movies bring comfort.
Bad movies bring comfort, but I'm not talking about bad movies. Bad movies, I still love bad movies. I love all
Same.
movies, but
Same.
there's a certain type of movie that when I was so a lot of the let me see. I'm going to try to come up with the least confusing way to tell this anecdote story, express this opinion. Well, first of all, Hollywood, as we've known it, is dying, and the film industry is turning into something new. I think that the executive ranks are shrinking. I think that the few people who currently make up the executive ranks are like my age or 10 years older, and maybe even a little older at the higher levels. But the people that can green light movies, the people who can make movies at a Hollywood scale right now, a lot of them are like probably between 40 and 50. So those people would have gone through the same embarrassing bad period of teenage movies that I did, which at that time there were all these like, which shouldn't be surprising. We're talking like fallout of the late 90s, which was like the rise of action sports and like think of like Mountain Dew, Red Bull, bro culture. So that was like the dominant sort of culture that we were living in. There's a really good Netflix series actually called Pepsi, Who Stole My Jet, that covers this era really well.
No
like,
way.
Really encapsulates. It's so good. Yeah, that's really great. So there were these.
Send that to me. I want to watch it.
I'll send it to you, but I remember I used to collect these Pepsi points. So it was the greatest way to get kids addicted to soda is you like had to buy Pepsi products, Mountain Dew, which was one of them, and then you could trade. It was like they gave you points when you bought one, and then you could trade those points in to get things like mountain bikes and like action sports, like 90s stuff, right?
Yeah.
And well, skateboards, whatever. And one of the things that you could get if you had enough points was a Harrier jet, and like a jet, like a military jet, a fighter jet.
No.
And so, of course, the executives that came up with this great idea, they knew nobody could get the like millions of points that were required to do it. But some genius teenager figured out that to buy enough Pepsi to get those points was cheaper than to go buy one of these jets. So in theory, you could buy all this Pepsi, get the jet, sell the jet, make a profit. And so this kid went out and raised money from an investor to buy all this Pepsi to get these points to buy this jet. And then he calls up Pepsi and he's like, Pepsi, where's my jet? And they had no ability to actually provide the jet. So it turned into this huge lawsuit. It's this crazy story. But the doc's really good and captures this 90s energy better than almost anything. Anyways, coming out of this period of 90s energy, there were these specific filmmakers, Neville Dean and Taylor, who made this movie called Crank. The movie Crank itself is sort of derivative of Speed. The movie Speed was a Keanu Reeves movie, Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, in which I forget the details. I haven't seen it in like 20 years, but there's a bus. The bus has a bomb on it. If the bus goes below some miles per hour in this packed, like 60 miles per hour or something in this packed city, the bus is going to explode. So they have to try to figure this out. It's like a crazy kind of high octane-ish thriller, right? Mm-hmm. They made a really like maligned sequel called Speed 2 Cruise Control, which is like the same plot, but it's on a cruise ship. Only cruise ships go really slow. and so, anyways, my theory on these Neville Dean and Taylor guys is that they were obsessed with speed. Like 6-7 years later or something, they make this movie Crank with Jason Statham. The movie Crank, I believe the way it works is this guy gets some sort of bomb on him, and if his heart drops below a certain rate, the bomb's going to explode. It's one of these like collar bomb style things. So he has to keep injecting him. He has to like keep his heart rate amped up, right? So he's like doing push-ups, like doing drugs to make his heart rate go up. Whatever he can find to make his heart rate go up, he does to try to survive. And I don't even remember the rest of the plot, but that's basically it. And these dudes were like, if that's not, I think the movie was in the 2000s. It definitely was. But I believe my thought is it's a fallout of 90s culture because it's like so amped up and like bro-y testosterone, adrenaline rush-y. And these guys, though, they took it a step further. And I actually think what they did was really cool because they had their own style. Like they had their own style and their own thing that they were doing. They became famous for using a rollerblade dolly. And so they would take a steady cam and they would be on rollerblades because the camera can't move fast enough like on a traditional dolly or steady cam. So it's actually cool. Like they developed a style. It was really interesting. It was a thing for a while. All these people copied them. And this movie, 20 years later, feels derivative of that movie, which like I say it's derivative of Speed, but it was actually doing its own thing. It was kind of like an interesting evolution of Speed, whereas this
Uh-huh.
is just like straight up derivative. I made a note at one point in the movie that every single time they could have done something original in this movie,
Yeah,
they made the
they
unoriginal choice.
they
Like
didn't.
this movie, and this is the only reason, this may be the only time in the history of this podcast that I'm just gonna like straight up dump on something, is that I, same as you, felt like this was made by executives, not by somebody who like really wanted to do something to tell an interesting story. Is this felt like an algorithm movie. It felt like,
Yeah.
and where I brought up my age and those executives is I feel like it's dudes. I'm going to go on the record as saying it's definitely dudes that are behind this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's some dudes about my age, maybe a little older, who they were like, man, when I'm in charge of Hollywood, I'm going to make this thing. And it's going to be
Yeah.
so action packed and it's not going to stop. And how are we going to do it? And it feels like a log line pitch that never got developed beyond, like, there is nothing to this movie other than
No.
the guy can't feel pain.
Yeah.
What can we throw at him? Nothing else
Yeah.
happens. Like,
That's
and it's-
seriously it.
and it seems
I
like
don't
the
know.
actors kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they feel like they're like, you can tell there are lines that they're delivering. By the way, I love the actors in this movie. I think that
Yeah.
I think Jack Quaid is really good. We just
He's
saw
super
him.
good.
We
In
just saw him
Companion.
in Companion, which was amazing.
Yeah.
I got really excited when Ray Nicholson showed up, but it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like he knew he was in a terrible movie. Like he just seemed like he was kind of having fun and like with that over the top character. I think that
Yeah.
dude is going to do some interesting things. I think there is like something wild someone's going to put that guy. Interesting story. There, when we were first putting The Mill together, which is a movie that I made, that his manager pitched him really hardcore for Rel's role in that, as like, oh, this is like, he said it was really hard to get Ray to do movies, and that like it needs to be saying something, which is really weird that he did this, but whatever, they must have paid him a ton of money. But anyways, I was like so sold on Rel that was what we had. I knew we were gonna do that from the beginning. But anyways, I think that someone's going to give that guy the right role, and he's just gonna like do something unbelievable with it, and it's gonna be incredible. And then Amber Midthunder, she was in the movie Prey. Did you ever see this? Prey is incredible. It's like a, not a reboot. It is an entry in the Predator franchise.
Oh yeah.
So she's like a indigenous American. It takes place in I don't know what year, but ultimately, like in the Predator franchise, the Predators are trying to find the best hunters around the galaxy and hunt them so that they can be the apex predator of the galaxy, the universe, solar system, whatever it is. And it's not the solar system, I think it's the universe. But they end up, she's hiding. She's like on the run. She's the prey from one of these predators. And it's awesome movie. Almost no dialogue, very good. That movie should have been in theaters. How do you have an alien movie that goes straight to streaming and then this thing goes to theaters? I don't know if it did well. Like I think it did sort of well. We'll have to look that
Check.
up.
I think like see, movies like this in the early 2000s to me were so good and so fun to watch, and like I think there's an opportunity for it to be super camp now. Like this could have been so camp and so good, like Scott Pilgrim or like Step Brothers or something. But it was actually, it made me feel like they were making fun of that era of movies.
This has made $28 million on an $18 million budget. So unless it does more,
How?
that's not profitable because you have to factor in that the theaters take half, and then you had to
Oh.
pay to market the movie. So an $18 million movie probably
There's
costs you
crazy
somewhere.
marketing right now. I was going to bring that up too. I totally forgot about it. But we talked about seeing this movie when I was flying back to LA from Michigan, and every single TikTok ad was Novocaine. Every Instagram reels, like scroll, every other thing was that movie. So there must have been so much marketing behind this. Like,
Yeah, and it's
I've
really
seen
hard.
it everywhere.
So it can be tough, like looking at what a movie does in the box office versus what the budget was, because you don't know. They probably spent like, I don't know, the budget of the movie or up to double the budget of the movie to market the movie. Plus they have to split it with theaters. You don't know
Yeah.
what kind of split they have. Like they could have sold the streaming rights already to somebody. Who knows? This is not like that amount of money on this kind of budget is not a hit by any means. But here's what I will say. I like the fact that there's an original movie that's not based on existing IP that's getting a wide release in theaters. That's cool. I just wish it wasn't this movie, because I don't think that this movie, in a time when we like when theater lovers and movie makers should be fighting to make interesting films that make people go to theaters. Like make Companion all day long. Make stuff like
Yeah.
that makes people want to go to theaters. Don't make this and more. Like why is this the thing? I'm telling you, it's because that some studio bro had always wanted to make this and finally got enough power to do it and just force. So there's this really great story. You know who Kevin Smith is,
Yeah.
the filmmaker. So
Yeah.
Kevin Smith did this, like, I don't even know what to call it. He still does it, I think. It's almost like a stand-up tour. So like he goes and speaks at colleges and in theaters and shows his movies and he talks. And he told this amazing story where he's like a huge comic book fan and he got hired to write I can't remember if it's a Batman or Superman movie. I want to say it's a Superman movie. And he gets hired to write this and he's all excited. And he gets to the end, he turns in the script, and this executive says, you know, it's really good, but I want you to add in a villain that's a giant mechanical spider. And whatever superhero it was, I think it's Superman. Kevin Smith's like, dude, there's no giant mechanical spider anywhere in Superman lore. Like, this doesn't exist. This is not a villain in Superman. Fans are going to destroy us.
I remember
Fans
this
want to see-
story.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want to see what they know. They want to see what they love, and they want to see it done interestingly, but also faithful to the comics. And the executive's like, yeah, we need the mechanical spider. So anyway, Kevin Smith refuses to do it, gets fired. His Superman movie never gets made. And then like a year later, he goes to see the movie Wild Wild West, which like Will Smith won't touch Westerns to this day because of this movie Wild Wild West. Because people hated it so much. And one of the reasons they hated it is because at the end of the movie, Will Smith is battling a giant mechanical spider.
Spider, yeah.
And so Kevin Smith's watching this and he's like, what? Like, how is this happening? And then he sees one of the producers of the movie was that same guy that tried to put him in the giant mechanical spider into Superman. And this feels like that to me. There's just somebody some dude that somehow got enough power within the industry to get something made that was just nonsense. That's just like, there's just good people go to the theater. People get these crazy ideas. I don't know why. I'm sure like everybody gets crazy ideas, but I feel like film executives get these crazy ideas that they know what audiences want. And it's like an audience wants to see just like 75 minutes of violence of somebody just getting hit. But the thing is, to me, when the guy can't feel any pain, there's no stakes to the violence whatsoever. Like, I knew he wasn't going to get hurt. So what was the point? The only time that it was interesting was when they flipped it a little. Like, at one point, somebody holds a knife to his eye. And he's like, no, don't do that, because he won't be able to see. And that will actually, you know, he doesn't want to be blinded or killed. But the fights just felt so, like, lackluster. And silly and slapsticky.
Who produced this? Do you know? Like what? Who distributed it? Like,
so I tried to find out. I actually text a friend of mine because somehow I got sent this script before it was made, and it was an example of like, hey, this kind of like crazy big thing is getting made at a big budget. Oh, and by the way, did the movie feel like kind of weird to you? Like, it was set in San Diego. Did it feel like it was in San Diego to you?
no, not
it
at
was
all.
shot in South Africa. And
Yes, I saw that. It was so weird.
that
it's
to me, like, it really showed because, like, for instance, like the cars. Why were the police driving cars from like the 1990s in this movie? Police always drive new
I
cars.
was so confused on when this was set. Like, genuinely,
that was
there
the
was
South-
so many conflicting pieces of, what is that, continuity, I guess? Or
Yes.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It
that
was
would
bad.
be a form of continuity. But, and also, okay, they mentioned this twice in the movie and in like a bad, like, B movie kind of way where, like, first of all, I've never made a movie with anything close to $18 million. That seems like a giant budget to me. To whoever was making this, I think it seemed like a small budget because they're like, here's where the budget of the movie falls apart. This bank gets robbed at the beginning of the movie and no cops show up. There's like 3 cops and their excuse is backup is 8 minutes away. Why is backup 8 minutes away? Like a bank is being robbed. There would be so in San Diego. There
Yeah.
would be so many cops
Yeah.
there immediately. Then later, the two detectives that show up. This to me, this feels like actors realizing the movie didn't make sense. Where they're
Yeah.
throwing in lines like, "Well, the backup still isn't here yet, so we have to take care of this ourselves." And then
This feels like if I was writing a script. You like the actors are describing what's happening. It was like every scene was like that.
3 times in the movie, they justify why more cops aren't there yet and why there's not backup. At one point, a police officer has been killed. Okay, if a police officer is killed, every cop within like 7 counties would be going to the scene of
Yeah.
that crime to try to try to catch this person, and nobody shows up. And so at one point, an injured cop gives a criminal a gun to go catch another criminal. I was like,
At the end of the movie, the detective lets this girl who just tried to kill her use her car to chase someone. Like, I, I don't know. I didn't
it
know
was
what to say.
absurd. It was so absurd.
It felt like a 4-hour movie. I was like, not this again the whole time.
The whole time, I thought the movie was over, and then it starts up again.
Yeah.
I was so ready to leave. This felt like a movie made like. I don't even know if it felt like a movie made by bro execs. It felt like a movie made by teenagers.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Absolutely. It just didn't make sense. And wasn't. You can be nonsensical, and it can be really fun and enjoyable.
Yeah.
This and where I think I said at the beginning, this felt cynical to me. It felt like somebody making a movie and saying, we know what audiences want. These people are idiots. That's what I don't like about it. It assumes the audience is dumb, and the audience is not dumb. We've been watching movies for over 100 years. The audience is really, really smart. And it just assumes that everybody's an idiot. And I felt like it was talking down to me the whole time.
Same. There were like points where this guy, the main guy, his friend he met through the internet, and he like comes to save the
I
day.
love
and
his
stuff.
friend, by
But
the
there
way.
were points. Yeah, there were points where this friend would be like, "Don't worry about it. I already told them what just happened." Like it was like, why are you explaining all of this? It was way. Oh my god, it was so literal, but bad, just bad.
There's this podcast, this really good movie podcast called How Did This Get Made? And they watch movies like this and just talk about all the things that don't make sense and sort of speculate about how this happened. This is the most perfect example of a movie that should be on How Did This Get Made I've ever seen. But the plain World of Warcraft thing was kind of wild because it reminds me of that movie I've told you about 100 times, The Remarkable Life of Evelyn.
Yeah.
With the guy who plays World of Warcraft. This guy was even playing World of Warcraft. And I love the dude who's the friend in this, by the way, who he's Tom Holland's friend in the newest Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I love that guy. But I was just banging on my table again. Tell me if I'm doing that, because you can hear it.
It wasn't too
I
loud.
can't.
I didn't hear it.
Okay. I did our whole last podcast. I was banging on the table.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's like a new tick that I picked up over the past month. I don't know what happened to me.
I have so many new ticks.
Okay. It happens. I've got a bunch of notes. I'm going to start going through some of these notes. So I wrote this very similar to what you said. I wrote this movie feels like it leaped out of 2004 and onto a screen today.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't almost could have been at one point. Like the criminals had weird old phones.
Yeah,
And
that's why nothing makes sense.
the music is so over the top. Like every song is about feeling. Every song, it's so over the top. And all the shots of like the way that this guy like keeps himself from being injured, like the tennis balls that he has on the corners of things. Because if the thing is, if he can't feel pain, he could accidentally injure himself and bleed out and die. But that felt to me like somebody just read a screenwriting book. You know, of like you have to name your character something that has to do with their predicament. Like, the Novocaine thing. You have to make sure that you surround them in things that feel like whatever the main conflict of the movie is. So every single thing is a reminder of the fact that he could injure himself, he could bleed out, he can't feel. In case you forgot, he can't feel. Like this, it really felt like if I took a screenwriting book. And like, what's the famous one? I've got it like right over my shoulder. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a really famous screenwriting book that like everybody gets when they first start screenwriting. It's the Sid Field book. Mm-hmm. If I took that book and I gave it to ChatGPT, and then I said, give me a high octane action movie that is, give me a high octane action movie that hits every beat that a screenwriting book says you should hit. This is what
Uh-huh.
would happen. Like the guy's name
Yeah.
feels like Chat GPT. The action, like even the like like how in an where we're coming out of an era where people were hypersensitive to particularly like female roles in movies. The first time we see the female lead in this movie, it's like a shot of her slow motion walking into a bank and he's just like attracted to her and then he's immediately in love with her.
Yeah.
Like what, how can you get away with that
This
now?
this to me, okay, I love Spy Kids with my whole heart, but they remade Spy Kids 4. This is literally every shot felt like that. It felt like a really bad kids movie.
Yeah, Spy Kids.
Spy
Spy
Kids 4. Go back and watch that movie. You'll be like, wow, this same vibe. Exact same vibe.
Spy
It's like
Kids is
silly.
trying to appeal to children though, and it's like it's not cynical. I also think if that's the one I'm
This is
thinking of,
okay, but
one
Novocaine
of
is
those
like
movies, Robert Rodriguez's son, who was like 10 or 11, helped him write that movie. So
okay.
that's like to appeal to children. Like this is a movie appealing to adults, but
Yeah,
like
I'm
trying to
saying
thinking we're idiots.
I think Novocaine is something like Atlas would like his age.
Maybe it could be for children. Maybe we're the wrong
There
audience.
was
Maybe this is a
nothing
movie for
like,
children.
was there really even anything super inappropriate or like, I don't know.
So there's a
A kid
movie.
could watch this.
The much better version of this movie is this movie called Wanted from probably 2004, which was James McAvoy and Angelina Jolie. And
I've never
and
seen it, but I know it.
she's an assassin. He somehow is like his dad was one of these assassins or something. It's a dude working a normal job who finds out that he's got these extraordinary abilities, who then gets into a whole bunch of gunfights. But it's the
I'm
really
sick
good
of
version
it.
of it. But it's
Okay.
okay. This was novel 20 years ago
Yeah,
when the
that's what I'm
technology to do this
saying.
first existed, and like it feels so dated. I also, why was this a Christmas movie?
Oh my god, I thought about that. It was so weird. I'm like, why did this just come out?
Why did it just come out? Did they decide it wasn't good enough to put out at Christmas? Did they realize the Christmas thread didn't work? Like, were they trying to be the new Die Hard, where like the debate forever, like is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It was.
I totally forgot about that.
It's a Christmas movie. The bandits are
Yeah.
dressed like Santa. They make several jokes
When
about
when the
Christmas
bandits
presents.
came in like Santa, I was like, "Oh my god, this really is a Christmas movie." Like, wow.
It's a straight up Christmas movie. It's the broken glass on broken glass on his knuckles. I'm just going through my notes. That's a ripoff. It's from this movie Kickboxer 2 from the 90s, maybe late 80s, 90s.
What is that 2000s superhero movie? The girl has like purple hair. It's like clearly kind of like silly parody type of.
Kick-Ass?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's giving that vibe.
Yeah, that I can definitely see if this was successful, there would be a sequel. Or do you remember the movie? What is that movie called? Is it Unbreakable?
Yeah.
That movie's awesome. Bruce Willis in it he can't be injured or something, and then Samuel L. Jackson plays Mr. Glass, who his like bones are glass, and he's a supervillain. That's like a really cool, grounded way to do sort of a superhero movie. This is like everything that's not. I don't know. This is why I can't just like. I can't hate on movies because I run out of steam. I run out of things to say. Like I've got a whole list of things I hated about this movie, and I don't know the reason to talk about them. Like I know you love a Dolly Zoom or a Zolly. You're a big fan. They did the worst one ever in this movie when he realizes that his love interest is the sister of the villain. By the way, his co-worker who he's suddenly fallen in love with and decides to risk his life to go save after knowing her for like a day. She is in on the crime. She was the inside woman for this heist, and her brother is the big bad. And at the moment where our hero Nathan realizes it, they do like this dolly zoom, which is
Yeah.
I don't know when the first time it was used. First time I'm aware of it was in Jaws, but it's when you
Yeah, that one was bad. in this movie.
you pull the dolly back while zooming in, or push the dolly in while zooming back, and it creates this effect where like the character separates from the background, and Kaya loves it. And they did it for
Yeah.
like it was like for like a second and a half. It was like
Yeah.
such a terrible useless example of it. Also, I don't know why I'm interested in like the like how unrealistic this movie was, but it just feels lazy to me. Unrealistic, lazy. Like I make
Yeah.
movies that have lots of unrealistic stuff happen.
Yeah,
and
and that's
constantly.
okay. I love movies like that, but this
But
one was not acceptable.
it felt like, and here's where I say it's cynical. It felt like to me they were saying, "Oh, the audience is so dumb they'll never notice." Like you
Yeah.
cannot use a defibrillator like that to hurt someone. It literally won't work. It
Yeah.
senses. Okay, if those things could be used as weapons, they wouldn't have them at like gyms and hotels.
Yeah, yeah.
It senses if your heart is out of rhythm and shocks it back into rhythm. If it senses that your heart is in rhythm, it doesn't shock. So you cannot. If you're ever being attacked and you see the portable defibrillator on the wall and you think you're going to save your life by attacking some criminal, some axe wielding maniac with the defibrillator, not going to happen. You are not going to do it. You are going to hit them with cold paddles. But so here's
The EpiPen. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think the EpiPen
Oh
would
my
work
god.
that way.
Oh my god.
There's also, this has the line in it. This is like the end where the climax is ending and it's about to go into the coda. We leave with the line, "Sherry, I love you. You're really cool." It was so unbelievable. Everybody involved with this movie deserved better.
It was oh my god. Nothing bothered me more than the ending too. Like it was so bad. It was terrible.
Also, they tried to use close-ups to hide the fact that she was in prison, but she's in prison.
Yeah.
There's
I
nowhere
know,
else she's going to be.
That's what made me mad. It made me so oh my god.
I was like, just get
so
on
happy
with
to
it.
leave.
Just get on with it. We know that she's in prison. There's
And like
so
him in the
much.
hospital. Like I hated that detective. And then they just killed her partner and like there was no closure to that. It was like
Also, you could clearly feel that those detectives worked like 2 to 3 days on this movie. They would like only show up in scenes. It almost felt like this movie felt budget but wasn't. That's what bothers me is like why how come you can make a movie like Anora, okay? Anora was made for what? I don't know, like between $3 and $5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Anora felt like it was made for $100 million compared to this. Like, I just don't get it. How can you spend this much money and have this many holes and have this many things where I'm
feels like
feeling
they shot
the budget?
for 10 days.
Yeah, it was
like most. Honestly, TS PM TFO.
Wait, what was that?
T TS PM TFO.
Translate.
This shit pissed me the F off. It did. It truly did. The
Me
whole
too.
thing.
And like, so I get why the only movie Kai has really hated that we saw before this was Terrifier. Terrifier 3, right?
No, I've hated other ones too.
That was the only other one star.
I hated Beetlejuice.
Oh, you hated Beetlejuice. But
This was way worse. By far
I
worse.
liked Beetlejuice. I love Terrifier. But I can understand why
That
you
was
didn't.
better.
Interesting. I can understand why you didn't like Terrifier, but I think Terrifier, what it does, I think is interesting. It's novel. I think they're turning that kind of gore into an art form. I think it loves its audience and is trying to serve that audience what that audience wants. I don't think it's for everybody.
This was just like so predictable too. I'm like, can this get over with now?
Yeah, that's so I have a new rule. Do you want to hear my new rule?
Yeah.
If I feel that the filmmakers disdain the audience that they're making the film for, I will hate on their movie.
Okay.
And that's what I felt here. And I feel like that's to me, I'm now providing a service because I am trying to say to the film audience, like, don't let this ruin your experience going to theaters. Don't think like good movies will come to theaters, great movies will come to theaters, bad movies will come to theaters. Most bad movies, I don't care because I feel like people tried their hardest. This, I care because I feel like they didn't try their hardest. They don't care about me.
There's no
They
way.
in fact hate me
There's
because
no way.
they made something that assumed I was so stupid that I
Yeah.
wasn't going to notice all the problems with this.
Yeah. Truly. I can't remember the last time I felt this way about a movie. It's been a very long time.
Yeah,
It's rare.
there was something else in my notes that I wanted to talk about related to this movie. Uh, oh, I know what it was. It's interesting because to me, I don't think this is a good movie, but I think I've made some good movies. I've made movies people have liked more than others. I've never made a movie that made $28 million in the box office. And this movie, we aren't supposed to look at reviews before we see these. I accidentally did. It's like 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. Like, this movie's getting pretty good
No.
reviews.
You're
And
kidding.
no. And I haven't looked at the Letterboxd yet. Letterboxd might
looking.
be a little less kind. But so that's just, it's like tripping me out because I have made movies that I think are good and that have like gotten into major festivals and like done okay, like good business wise, etc. Like, I would consider some of the movies they've made profit for the investors. Like, I've made movies that I would consider successful, but in terms of sheer metrics, I've never made anything that has just been this widely successful. And so who am I to be saying I think this sucks, but I think it sucks? And it's really weird that we work that film is a business where everybody's like taking a look at how much money it makes. Like, I don't, like, when I go to buy a product, when I go to buy like a pair of shoes, I'm not thinking about how much money Vans makes. Like, it's not on my mind. Why am I worried about other movies and how much money they make? I go to why I am, because I'm like thinking about the movies I'm making. But why does the world care? It's also like
you're buying a ticket and you don't know what you're expecting. So it's like, okay, a movie can make a ton of money and it can still be bad, or it can make no money, but it just wasn't like out there enough. I don't know.
It made me feel like this weird like thought about like art and commerce and success and failure and what any of those things mean, and do they mean anything? And I don't think they do. Like, what would you rather have? Let me ask you. Would you rather make a movie that didn't make any money, which made it harder for you to make your next movie, and nobody really saw, but it won an Academy Award? Or would you rather make a movie that didn't win any awards, but it made a ton of money, and because of that, you got to make your next movie, and a whole bunch of people really liked it? Like, what is success in film? What is success? Is it critical success? Is it box office success? Is it some combination of the two? Is it neither? Like, what is it? Is it creating something for culture that people can enjoy and that makes people's lives a little better? Like, what does success mean in art? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone.
The top review is from you. It says, "May this type of love never find me. LOL."
I just saw a really funny one. The reviews are like good on Letterboxd. Like, oof. Someone said, sadly, the filmmakers forgot to watch Heat, so they didn't know that the bags full of money would be heavy. This is true.
Bro, I actually wrote a note. One of my first notes was that I now need to force you to watch Heat because you need to see a good heist movie. I don't know what it was. The minute I saw this heist, I thought of Heat and thought how I would rather be.
I think that's what most people are
Heat.
saying.
But yeah, these are pretty good reviews. Like,
I'm actually in shock.
Are we the only people that didn't like this?
There's no way. This is the worst movie I've seen in my life. This is worse. There was a movie I told myself when I was a kid, this is the worst movie ever. I think it was Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked. I literally cried in the theater. I hated it so much. It was so bad. This is worse. This is way worse than that movie. I don't like it.
One of the recent reviews says, okay, but that dolly zoom was really cool. And I love Jack Quaid. Did you see the same dolly zoom we did?
So bad.
Is this a new generation of people that didn't see the movies that this is derivative of?
I don't know.
This has
I think ChatGPT could
127,000.
write a better movie than this.
This has 127,000 watches on Letterboxd, 40,000 hearts. I mean, if Letterboxd is the metric of success, this is, I believe, I haven't looked at every movie I've made, but I believe this is probably more watched and more loved than anything I've made. Is this, if that if that's the case, what does that mean? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for everyone? Or are we just two opinions? I mean, that's the other thing. That's the thing. We are two opinions. We're just two opinions. We didn't like it. Yeah. Big deal. Someone else is going to not like something that we love. And that's what's great about it. Somebody can love this. Somebody can hate it. Somebody can think it was a waste of time. Somebody can think this is the best thing they've ever seen and watch it 100 times and their life is better because this movie exists and we can hate it. And that's okay.
I don't understand this, though. I'm actually in shock at the amount of 4 stars that this has. A breath of fresh air action movie? Like, are you kidding?
Are people just so desperate to see movies that aren't Marvel or that aren't IP based or that aren't also not horror? There's so much horror right now. Like, as a dude who makes predominantly horror movies, that's sort of concerning to me. But is this, or was this like more? You saw it in a crowded theater. You said the crowd wasn't really reacting?
Yeah. I don't know.
So, this made me think. I was not a fan. So this made me think. I never say anything bad about movies, but I hated this movie. No, Deadpool's incredible. Deadpool is it like cheesy so though? Funny. Like, it is until it isn't. Here's the difference between this and a movie like Deadpool. Deadpool is, there are like these big, beautifully choreographed fight sequences where you can tell they put a lot of effort into trying to entertain the audience, right? Like do things that haven't been done before. There's funny needle drops, music playing during some of these sequences. It's like beautiful. The character is hilarious and is just constantly cracking jokes. But here's where it becomes a good movie and not just a funny movie. But funny is great. Funny is good. But where it's like, I think really, and I think all good funny also has heart. I think all good horror has heart. All good anything. The key to a movie, you've got to like hook the emotions of the viewer, right? Yeah. And like Deadpool, you actually care about the character. You care about his backstory. He's got this rough exterior and is cracking jokes all the time, but you really care about what's happening to him and his friends, and that's what ultimately makes it great. I think even like comedy that's considered like bad comedy, like the Adam Sandler movies that you love so much. Those movies, I care about. No matter who Adam Sandler's playing, he makes me care about who he's playing. Like, I care about Happy Gilmore. I care about Billy Madison. I care about these characters. I care about Mr. Deeds, right? Longfellow Deeds. Much. I care about that guy. That's my favorite. Yeah. I don't care about Nathan Cain.
I don't. I don't think he cares about himself either, honestly. That character, so there's no love in this movie.
He fell in love with a girl because she walked in through a door and somehow equated that with the love that a guy had for his wife of 50 years who just died. That's the depth of emotion of this movie.
It upset me so much that they ended up together. Like, she just ruined your life and almost killed you. Had you killed. And you're still... There you go. You're that desperate.
Yeah. Hey, she walked into the bank in slow motion.
She did. She really did.
And their fates were funny.
Sealed. You know, like when there's like a thing where like you're working with someone and you have a coworker and you're just bored at work, so you have a work crush. This is like that. This is giving that vibe. Like you don't really like her. You just work with her.
I saw an article. I don't know where it was. Some news organization or something. It was talking about The Office, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was talking about I believe he was talking about, might have been like a Jim and Pam thing. Anyways, It was like, why is The Office 6 at 10? And like somebody who's a 6 in real life is a 10 at The Office.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's what's happening in
Yeah.
this movie. Is it's
It's
literally
so true.
they're the only people in that building of that age, and
Yeah.
then it's like it's like this. It's almost like offensive, the fact that she uses the fact that like she had self mutilated or self harmed
Oh my God,
as
that was so cheesy and bad. I forgot about that.
that's like her connection to him is she's part of like a self-harm group, and she's like, everybody has secrets and we just need to start like sharing them with others or something. But that's like the depth of these characters, is that
That was so
he
bad.
can't feel pain, she hurts herself to feel something. And
Like when they showed like her scars and stuff from like that. Oh my God.
now
I
they've spent one night
I was
together
out.
as she tried to dupe him to get the codes to the bank vault. It's crazy. All right.
It
So,
was bad.
what are we seeing next?
Dude, I don't know. But can I say something?
You can say anything.
This whole podcast, you've given me the vibe and the look, minus the glasses, of Frank from 30 Rock.
Oh my God. No. Why? Because I'm like hating on something? Because
No, you just your face, your hat, the hoodie with the things, the headphones, the beard. You're giving Frank.
yeah, but my hat doesn't say like tuna salad or something on it.
You should start doing that. I
Roy
think
Frank
that's
hats?
I think okay, he's been talking about wanting to like have a uniform for like his style to like be like more chill and pay less attention to his clothes. And I feel like your uniform could be that.
Frank.
Just like yeah. Like a funky hat with a
No,
weird
I
saying.
want a capsule wardrobe. I want like
Yes,
a few
capsule.
things so that I don't ever have to think about it. Anything that I wear
Superman
all
closet.
fits together, almost Superman closet, like Jerry Seinfeld closet, where
Yeah.
like it's not exactly the same. It's not full Steve Jobs, but it's all relatively similar, so that like I don't have to think about my pants, shirt, shoes, hat combination. They all work
Yeah.
together, and I don't know what this has to do with solo movie going, but I will tie it back to solo movie going because of the comfortability that I had of my wardrobe today at the movie, which changed my life. Also, I have a friend who is a film editor, and he took the Superman wardrobe thing to a new level. He wears the same thing every single day, and he's got
Wow.
it set up to where he's done this for so many years that he knows when his socks need to be replaced, his underwear need to be replaced, his pants, every item that he wears, he knows when it needs to be replaced, and it's automatically set up to be purchased on Amazon, so that not only does he not have to think about what he wears, he doesn't have to think about when he needs to buy new because he knows it's getting worn out.
That's crazy. That's redonkulous.
I've known the guy for like 12 years, and he's done this the entire time I've known him.
Isn't it funny? Like, people will pick and choose things kind of like that to be really OCD about. I think about that all
Yeah.
the time.
What's yours?
I have so many.
Yeah, I have a lot too. I have a lot of them. Mostly related to like food and exercise, but also other things. Like I don't know if this counts
I
as one. I can't
What?
get like the slightest bit wet. If like when I
Oh,
left the theater today and I was a little wet, I had to immediately change my clothes. If I wash my hands and this part of my shirt gets water on it, whole outfit's changing. I can't do it. It's
well, I
disgusting.
used to do this thing. This is super OCD, like where you have to like touch something a certain amount of times, or like do different like amounts of something. Like in the morning, I used to wake up and I would have to like say, I can't even remember the saying. I would have to say the saying out loud, and then I would have to jump up and down 5 times every morning. I'm not even kidding. But like, same thing.
Okay.
OCD is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a sane thing. No,
I
I've never
don't
had one of those. I've
anymore,
never had one of
but
those. I've not had one. Okay.
rituals.
So, yeah.
What should we see?
Oh, I've got a really weird ritual when I eat, actually. I like if I'm using a spoon or something, I move my food up and down before I eat it. Like, and I don't think it's the same amount of times.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
even with like
yeah.
a burger, like I like move it up and down. I don't know why.
That's
I'm always moving my
OCD.
food before I eat it. Yeah, it's
That's
an OCD
funny.
thing. Okay, Death of a Unicorn,
No, we're not seeing that.
Woman in the Yard.
No. Oh my God, no. I was
Bob
driving at
Trevino
the
likes
Grove.
it. Okay.
That movie, the ads for it look way too scary.
That's why we should see it.
No, I'm sick of horror.
Bob Trevino likes it. It's supposed to be great. I think it's a tearjerker. I love John Leguizamo. I would see Bob Trevino likes it. I would see The Chosen Last Supper. I haven't seen a good Jesus movie in a hot minute. Oh, Black Bag is supposed to be great. That's I think it's Soderbergh's new movie.
What
Dude, that
is
guy has
Drop?
so many movies out. How does he have so many movies? He just had um the the one where he is the camera operator playing the perspective of a ghost.
I want to see Hell of a Summer. It has
I don't
Finn Wolfhard in it from
I
Stranger Things.
I don't see that showing around here. I would
Ugh,
see Paddington in Peru. Paddington is baller. What drop?
Drop. Yeah. That's everywhere. There's so many ads for that right now. Billboards.
It's the same person who made Happy Death Day, Christopher
Oh,
Landon.
I liked that when it came out. It came out when I think I was in like
I remember you
8th or ninth
seeing that. I
grade.
remember being really surprised that you were going to see that.
Yeah.
I'd see
What do
this.
you want to see?
You said no horror though.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I don't want to see horror. But I don't know. What's your top choice?
My top choice for something that we could see like this week would definitely Bob Trevino likes it. That looks really good.
Okay.
The trailer's great. I'll send you the trailer.
No, I don't like to do that. I don't ever watch the trailer for these movies that we see on the podcast.
Next week's podcast, let's do Bob Trevino likes it.
Fine by me.
Did we miss anything? Oh,
I don't.
if you had to be a character in this terrible movie, who would you be?
The friend, the gaming friend, because he was fine. He didn't get hurt. He was chilling. He got
Yeah,
to
gaming
live
friend.
his fantasies of, I don't know, high speed chase. He had a good night, I would say.
Yeah, he had a good time. I'm with you. That's actually a really good choice. It's hard to argue with that, but I feel like I can't just pick the same thing as you because I don't know if I would have done that if I would have been on my own to pick. Probably Sherry. I would say I would be Sherry.
Yeah.
Sherry starts this movie in the lowest point. She's about to commit a crime and probably either flee the country or spend the rest of her life in jail. It's not going to end well. Her brother's a psychopath. Like this doesn't end well for her. And she gets rid of her crazy brother. She gets out of a life of crime. She does her time in prison. She's going to get out and
Only jail.
hopefully
6 months.
hopefully well, she was already there for a year, so 18 months. But
Oh.
she's going to do 18 months in prison for what seems like an entire life of crime. And then she's going to get out and she and Nathan will have a great life together, or they won't. But either way, she's going to get out. She's paid her debt to society and her life is going to go on to be better than it was before. I think Sherry gains the most in this movie.
Okay. Fair.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all.
I wouldn't
I don't-
either.
I don't want you having this. Okay. All right. So we live to fight another day. We're going to see something different. I think that is all for today. Peace. Music.
Swag money YOLO. Wow.